just wanted to ask you. Obviously, I know you've been a D-line coach basically most of your career. Just how's it been these first 4 or 5 practices you guys have got in now, going to linebacker? I know coaching's coaching, but just kind of how's that transition gone for you? Kind of working with a new position.
Yeah, Matt, I think we're really making some progress. I'm not going over and coaching receivers. That'd be a very different world. But, we're still staying in the front seven. So, you talk about run fits. You talk about understanding those concepts. You talk about block destructions. Block destruction is the same. Attacking with your hands, elbows in, thumbs up, right? Getting your shock to lockouts, right? Clearing off of blocks, right? Guys understand that. Guys understanding, blocking schemes and how they fit. There's a lot of similarities there. Sure, there's some differences, when you talk about, getting into the pass drops. But, I told you guys when I was introduced, I've never considered myself a guy that just sat in the room when we went into 7-on-7 pass skill and didn't pay attention. I was always watching. I was always listening. I was always attempting to learn. And, so I don't think I was necessarily – I'm not in a place where I'm a fish out of water, so to speak. But I think we're making some great progress. We got good older kids, good leadership. Talk about C4 in the room, Cam Jones. You talk about Aaron Casey. Guys have been around a bunch. And, you throw in even a guy like Bradley Jennings coming from Miami. He's played real football at Miami. So they understand football. And I've never felt, walking into a meeting room either that it was a lecture and that I was the dictator. I've always believed that you walk into that meeting room and it's conversations. That's how those guys really learn today anyways, right? Their attention spans are so much shorter. You got to involve them in the conversations. And to be able to have those older guys in there that have played a lot of football, we can have some great conversations about what'd you see here? Why'd you play it that way? And to really just talk through things more than, like I said, just lecture at them. So I think we're really, making progress.
Dustin DePierre, Bloomington Herald Times.
Hey, Dustin.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You mentioned this, the junior college guys, or not the junior college guys, the transfer guys. Just how important have they been? What's impressed you about them so far? And again, just the fact that, like you said, they have played real football somewhere. How much does that help bring in when you're bringing new guys in that they have that kind of experience?
Here's the first thing I'll tell you about those guys. They've walked into the room and they've been humble. They haven't they attempted to go prove anything. Let's just go to work. Right, let's be hungry. Let's go to work. And you look at Bradley Jennings, you look at Jared Casey. They've both come in with the right mindset, the right approach to it, which has allowed them, when you are hungry, you can go to work and work on improving. Right, don't think you know it all. And both those guys come in from that perspective. But then the other thing they do is they're bringing in, like you said, experience, and so they can take things they've seen. They can take things that they've been taught, that they've been coached, and we can blend it all together to make it the best for where we are right now. And Jared Casey, had something. I mean, this was back in February. We were watching something, and hey, we were taught it this way and said it this way. I was like, that makes sense, right? And the other guy was like, yeah, I've never heard it that way. That makes sense. Like, again, back to those conversations and dialogues, right? It's not this, just dictatorship, right? Let's have conversations, and same with Bradley Jennings. We talk about something with a blocking scheme off the tight end, and he had a phrase and he used it, boom, right? Like, other guys haven't heard it that way. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, it makes sense. I've never heard it that way. So again, just they're bringing in different perspectives, but we can go in, we can put it together and make it ours, make it the best we need it to be. Sure, really in the same mindset. This thing is, you're putting it together, right? We're doing it together, right? Today's Brandon Shelby's birthday, right? We're singing Brandon Shelby happy birthday after practice today. It's relationships, right? Coaching is relationships with it's player to coach, it's coach to player, it's player to player, it's coach to coach, it's relationships, and just working on spending the time, investing those relationships, and working together. And nobody's saying it's about me, right? One of the things I've always believed, it's not my linebackers, it's not Coach Randolph's D line. It's not Coach Shelby's corners. It's not Coach Jones's safeties. It's not Casey Teagarden's bulls. It's our players. It's our defense. And I've really believed that for a long, long time. And if we all have that mindset that we are working to make this defense, this team, the best it can be, we're gonna be able to do something pretty special. And again, those players feeding back into those relationships the same way with us as coaches and us giving ourselves to the players. And really, as Coach Allen says it all the time, right? Capture the hearts and the minds of your players. And us doing that, then, but we have to, like you said, right? As coaches, we got to be able to do that together ourselves. And but you really see that dynamic working well together. And Coach Shelby bringing up a concern that he saw in something we got from the offense, or Coach Teagard say, I think this puts our guy in conflict. Right? How about we try this? We look at different things. Those are the conversations and dialogues we need to have so that we are putting our players in the best positions to be successful. And I really see, all those guys. We're professionals, right? Again, across the board, all those guys, we're professionals, and that's our job, is to be professionals and working with each other.
Good afternoon, Coach. Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. How are you?
I'm doing great, bud. I'm doing great, man. Great to see you.
Good to see you, too. You have to replace Micah McFadden in the middle of this defense. He was an All-American linebacker, huge shoes to fill. You mentioned C4 and Cam Jones before, but who else is stepping up into that role here early in spring that could be a major player to fill that role that Micah left?
Sure. Well, Micah, you're 100% right. Micah is a phenomenal player, right? Micah, clearly earned the accolades he did for a reason in his production, but also leadership and who he was off the field. But I've told the group this before already, and I believe this, right? It's not one person ever that makes a defense. It's not. Whether you're the number one defense in the country or the last, 130th in the country, right? It's the players, plural, right? And our strength has to be in our numbers, right? Up front, right? Playing and rotating a lot of guys, rolling them up front, right? You look at the depth on the D line, right? Our strength is in our numbers, and it must be. Then you look again in the linebackers, in that next line of guys, right? I mentioned Aaron Casey developing, making progress, right? Gaining confidence, right? Allowing his mind to slow down so his body can play faster, and working to simplify some things for him. But then, like I said, adding in the Bradley Jennings of the world, and adding in Jared Casey, bringing in Caden Turner early, right? Excited about Isaiah Jones getting here, here this summer. Matt Holt is a young guy coming on, right? Again, strengthen the numbers, right? And we go compete with each other. We all grow, not competing against each other, competing with each other, right? That's where we're all going to grow. That's where we're all going to improve. And then, again, it carries into the back end. When you look at all those guys, from the old guys, been here a bunch, Fitz and Monster, those guys have played a lot of ball, Taiwan and Jalen Williams, right? Those guys played a lot of ball, but also, right, getting the next guys ready. That's the strength. When you can just keep, on defense, when you can keep sending the waves, send the waves, and just being able, like, we talk about, our DNA. We talk about tackling, takeaways, and effort, right? Right? Okay, we got to tack the ball and get the takeaways. We got to pursue to the ball, right, and tackle. But it's the effort, right? When you ask the guys to just do that over and over and over, you've got to continue to provide the waves, right? Provide the depth. And that's really going to be, hopefully, the calling card for our defense. It's that effort, and just keep sending the waves and the strength and the numbers. So I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but that's the goal, that's the intent, that's the purpose. Just keep sending the waves at them, and that's one of the things I've been really pleased with, right? So far in spring ball is just the number of guys that we're getting reps to allow them to develop, allow them to grow, allow them to improve, and attacking the fundamentals of that improvement, right? Believe this for a long time. Don't confuse activity for achievement. Right? That's great to go run around, right? But what are you actually doing? Is it just activity, or are you achieving? Are you making progress? Are we working and attacking the fundamentals of the tackling, the takeaways, right? The block attack, the block destruction, understanding the concepts, right? And learning schemes and learning football. So that's the challenge, is getting a lot of guys ready to do that. Not just one guy, it's a lot of guys. So I don't know if again, you asked about Micah, and I talked about everybody. So, but that's what I believe. It's got to be in our numbers. It's not one person; it's all of us. Replacing Micah.
Yeah, hey Coach, Mike Schumann with the Daily Hoosier here. Wanted to ask you about your relationship with Coach Allen. You a somewhat unique situation with him calling plays, you having the DC role. How are you seeing that play out kind of in practice in the spring here?
Sure, as we sit in meetings again, go back, right? We're all in this together, right? Coach Allen will be calling the plays. I got no issues saying that. I've got no issues, right? If I had issues with that, I'd have an ego, right? I'm not trying to pat myself like saying the humblest person that doesn't have the ego. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not about me. It's about us, as I said earlier, about the coaches, right? It's about us working together to make this team the best it can be, and whatever that role, whatever that job is, from the highest of us to the lowest of us, right? What's my job? What's my role? And that's really all I've working to do. I was at Virginia working for Al Groh, right? He used to talk to everybody in the program, right? Everybody's job here is to support everybody else. And that's my role. That's my job is to support Coach Allen, provide him with everything he needs, to allow him to go be the head coach at times, right? When you look at the organization and the scripting of practice and putting the practice plans together and right adjustments and the things that's my job. Right, is to take care of some of the detail stuff behind the scenes to allow him to go be the head coach when he needs to be the head coach, right? And then when it's time to let him go call the plays and do that, then boom, there it is. It's ready for you. Here you go, coach, right? Put it on the platter, right? Make my job his job as easy for him as possible. That's my role. That's my job. Do everything I can to support the head coach. Right? And that's what I really believe. Again, hey, it's behind the scenes. It's behind the scenes. Cool. I'm good with that. I just want to do everything I can to make Indiana football the best it can be, and I'm excited about that.
How is it from a positional standpoint? I guess how are you seeing things shaken out within the linebacking core so far as who's a Mike, who's a Stinger in terms of the new guys, who's sort of shaping out where in that discussion?
Really, as I said earlier, really working more right now to teach concepts. Right, for them to understand concepts. Sure, we have an organizational chart. We don't have a depth chart right now. Don't have one. We've got an organizational chart. And again, if we're believing in the strength is in our numbers, we're going to see, I talked to Aaron Casey's working at more Mike right now, but Aaron Casey's played the Stinger. Right, talking about that today, right? Asking him questions about Stinger, making sure he knows what that is, because, hey, if C4 goes down, if Aaron Casey and Bradley Jennings are the best combination, great, that's what we're going to go with, right? If, Aaron Casey goes down and the best combination is Jared Casey and C4, that's what we're going to go with. We're teaching concepts. Right, we've got an organizational chart. We don't have depth chart. Right, those guys will decide the depth chart. I don't decide it; they decide it. They'll decide what their depth chart is. Right now, our job is just to teach, help them grow, improve. Again, talking about that activity versus achievement. So, I'm not going to say it's one guy doing this or that. It's let's teach the concepts. I mean, even when we draw stuff up, we draw M/S. Could be the Mike, could be the Stinger. Right? If you understand how we're fitting this route, this concept, it's the Mike or the Stinger. Hey, how are we checking this against bunch? Well, it could be the Mike or it could be the Stinger that's doing that. Right? Teaching the concept more than teaching the position, if that makes sense. And again, I believe that we're doing that across the board, right? Our D tackles, right? D tackles are playing nose and tackle, right? We guys are learning concepts at end and bowl, right? Safeties are learning it, corners are learning it, right? Teach concepts, right? That's what spring ball's for. Help guys improve, help them grow in their football acumen, their football IQ, right? That's really what we're working for right now. Yeah, I might have sidestepped the question. Hopefully it's not, but that's really the answer, right? Aaron Casey's working Mike, and he's learning Stinger too, right? C4 is working Stinger, he's learning Mike too, right? Same for Bradley Jennings, same for Jared Casey, same for Matt Holt, same for Caden Turney, right? They're learning concepts. They're not learning positions right now.
All right, Chad, thank you.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Matt, Dustin, Keegan, Sammy, Mike, really appreciate you guys.